You faced their three quarterbacks in 3 games this season, Powell, Shields, and what does the preparation change?
I don't know that it changes too much. I mean, you're aware of the skill sets they all provide. Obviously it's the first time that the defense had gone against Scott Milanovich, calling the plays in their offense. So, I think you look more about how he's calling the game with those 3 quarterbacks, what schemes they're coming up with, what their protections are, all those things, and how they're running the ball and route combinations and all that, and just how he calls the game. So I think that's really what you're tailoring it towards. But obviously they've played all 3 quarterbacks down the stretch too, so you kind of get a feel for them. But ultimately, like anything, you're aware of the other team, you know their strengths, you know their tendencies, but you play to your strengths as well. And I know our defense will do that.
Do you have some news about Lestage?
Not yet. Nothing's been finalized yet, so he's in getting treatment. He will be all week, so we're still hoping that he'll be available for us game day.
They often say it's tough to beat the same team twice. You'll have to beat them 4 times or 5 times. How tough is that?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's one at a time, and we've done that before this year where we've beaten teams multiple times, or every time we face them. So it's not like we've not done that, and other teams in this league have done it. So how do you do it? You focus on the game at hand, you focus on the day and the preparation. Obviously both teams will know each other extremely well. There will be tendencies that need to be broken. But ultimately, it comes down to a game. And so the previous games and that mentality or mindset, you need to focus on the present, in my opinion, and worry about that. So, that's what our focus will be, rather than, hey, this will be the 4th time we've had to beat them. I mean, it's just this time we need to do it.
Do you feel you played them particularly well this year?
I think all the games have been a little bit different how we've played. I mean, both the games there, I mean, we kind of got on a roll late in the game and took it to them. We had, the turnovers in the first game that provided us some breathing room, and then finished the game. And the second game, we had a great second half, explosion in the second half that, we all played all 3 phases extremely well. So, and then this last game was just a lot of people playing, a lot of different things, and again, came down to the end. So, I mean, we've done enough in every single game to find a way to win. Have we played at our ultimate best for 60 minutes? No, not yet. Or all 3 phases, firing it all at one time? No. But that's the expectation this week, is that we'll be able to do that. But ultimately, you got to just keep grinding and keep working, and keep focusing on each and every play, because they all matter towards the outcome of a game.
Is there a possibility that Hamilton can surprise you, or you think that you saw everything?
No, I mean, I think there's always room to surprise people. There's always room to have saved something that you've been working on or practicing on, or again, we have got a lot of film to go off of against one another. So there are tendencies that both of us have. It's just when you choose to exploit them, but. Sometimes in those high pressure situations in playoffs, you want to go with what you're good at too, and play your strengths maybe versus the strength of theirs, because you feel like you'll come on top there. But I always believe that there's wrinkles that everybody will do this time of year that can make the difference in a game. But ultimately, football still comes down to playing sound football, 3 phases, taking care of the ball, taking care of your quarterback, taking it away. All those things are what truly matter in a game, but you always got to be prepared for kind of the unknown and adjust.
It seems that their defense didn't have good games against the Alouettes this season. You think they underperformed, or your offense?
I would not say that. I mean, I think they've made it difficult for us throughout the season, particularly on second down. I think they've done a tremendous job against us. That's things that we got to work on and get better at. They're tough physically too. They're a tough physical football team. So, I just think we've had our moments in those games at times where, like we have all season against people. There's been moments where we play extremely good football, and we just like to maintain that through the year. But no, I have a lot of respect for their defense and their guys and their personnel and their schemes, and Mark as a coordinator. It's tough every time we play them, and I never apologize for beating anybody. I think it's hard to do that in this league. So, it's going to be a great challenge for us this week.
Danny said that hiring you was maybe his best move for this season. What do you think of that, and what do you think of the job he's done?
Yeah, it's flattering to hear that. Obviously it's nice to hear it, I should say, and obviously, I'm very grateful and thankful. Like I've said from the beginning, the circumstance I was hired under, I think it was a tough circumstance for anybody to accept. But I had all the faith in the world in Danny, and that's why I accepted this position. I mean, when it was offered to me, and I said it before, I didn't want to get my hopes up too high after the interview and all that, even though I felt I was a qualified candidate. I didn't want to get my hopes up too high because I didn't want to be disappointed if I didn't get the job. But once I was hired, I mean, the confidence has always been there in him. And then, I just wanted to work with him. And it's been so long since I've had an opportunity to do that. So, I'm very excited about working with Danny each and every day and very thankful, like I said, to that.
I know the job isn't done yet, but at the beginning of the season, if people have told
Sorry,
you...
real quick. You asked about him.
Yeah.
He's done a tremendous job, in my opinion. Like, to go from GM last year to coaching the team midway through the year, bringing a team to the playoffs, giving up that duty, hiring somebody, and then, going out and getting the players he has assembled on our team with the department that he has assembled as well, the great people that are in our department, scouting-wise, and just in our building that he's responsible for is tremendous. He's built such a great culture, and obviously I think he's done just a tremendous job as a GM for this team.
Yes, don't worry, that was a great answer too. So,
Sorry.
but I know that the job isn't done yet, and you're far from done here. But at the beginning of the season, if somebody would have told you 11-7, would you have taken that? Did you think you had the team?
I'll say this: I don't know that I would have conceded 7 losses. At the end of the day, that's not how I'm built. I mean, I don't want to lose, and I don't think we want to lose at anything. So I don't know that I would have taken that. I'd rather have just said, let me roll the dice, let me play the games, and let us come together and let's see what we have, kind of thing. We're built on competition. We're built on competing. We're built on not giving an inch and wanting to win every single time we're out there, whether it's one rep, whether it's a practice, a meeting, whether we're playing pickleball in our locker room. We want to win, and that's what we're built on. So to say at the beginning of the year I'm okay with 7 losses, I've never believed that. I don't think you want to lose at anything. So the losses are learning experiences. So when they come, you accept them. You accept the defeat, and then you just move on and you learn from them and don't look at it as a loss. So I'm not surprised, though, that we've made the playoffs. We're hosting a playoff game because that was the expectation when I was hired here. And when I talked to Danny about the vision of this team and I looked at the people we had assembled collectively as a whole organization, I felt like we could be successful right away. But, obviously you got to go out and do it and prove it, and you got to do it every day. And ultimately, that's what I'm so proud of this year. It's not the 11 wins. It's the way we've worked since we came together, since December when we all got hired, January into that with the coaches, picked the team, got into training camp, and started to work. That's what I've been most proud of this group.
Talking with Jason about the fact that at the beginning of the year, so many experts, were thinking that the Alouettes would be last of the league. For the players, what kind of motivation that was? Maybe not for the coaches, but for the players.
Extreme motivation for us, and I've kind of said it all year. We're a band of misfit toys. A lot of us young players, and then there's some guys who have been kind of kicked to the curb by their old teams and wanted to come out and prove themselves. And that's what I wanted to do this year, was come out and prove that I could be a starting quarterback in this league again. And we have a tremendous team around us and around me, and Danny and Coach Maas did a great job of bringing in the right people. Not only the most talented people, but also just the right guys in that locker room. And you felt something early on in training camp that this team was going to be close together. We just knew we needed our young guys to get experience. The only way you get experience is by being out there and playing. And so I couldn't be any more happy or blessed to be a part of this organization and given a second chance. Like I said in training camp, it's not very often you get a second chance, especially in professional sports. And to get that second chance. It means a lot, and that's why I want to do everything I can to bring home a cup to our amazing fan base, to these players, to the coaches, and that's so essentially that's the goal.
You had a few very good halves against Hamilton, and you had probably your worst half of the season or close to it, the second game over there. What do you have to do to make sure that doesn't repeat and the good halves come back?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing I think about is this will be the 5th time we play these guys, which is tremendously hard to beat a team 5 times in 1 year, right? We won the preseason game as well. So already right there, odds are obviously stacked against us, but this football team knows how to win. They know how to go down to the wire. The one thing I do know about Hamilton is they're going to give us everything they got. They're a very physical team. It's going to come down to the 4th quarter, and got to find a way to not turn the ball over, not take penalties, don't put ourselves in bad situations, but it's going to be a great CFL atmosphere, a great CFL football game. And anytime you play a team 5 times in 1 year, everybody knows everything about one another. So it's all about execution, and then it comes down to, like I said, the little things, the turnovers and the penalties.
What in your offense this season makes that you could beat that team 4 times and maybe a 5th time?
Yeah, I thought the resiliency against them, like you said, we had one of the worst maybe halves of football against them, but we still found a way to win the game. And so that's what this team has done this year. And sometimes we haven't put our best foot forward, but we found ways to win football games. And so we're going to take that experience. I'm going to take the playoff experience I've had as a CFL starting quarterback in this league, go in there and just do my job, execute the game plan that's put in front of me, and let our playmakers make the plays. We got plenty of guys around me that are going to make tremendous amount of plays on Saturday, and that's what's got me excited.
I'm sure you're preparing yourself to not be surprised about the defense in front of you, but there's still a possibility that Hamilton can still surprise you after all those matches.
Absolutely. I talk about this when you play a team back-to-back. Usually it's a little bit easier for a defense to change their playbook than an offense to change their playbook. So there might have been some things in that game that they showed us that they might not carry over, or some things that they held back that they're going to carry over. And it goes down to every game. You go into every game with that mentality of see how they're going to play you, make the sideline adjustments, and go out there and just try and execute. So we're expecting everything from them. It's a playoff game, and the pressure and all the hype behind a playoff game usually happens right until kickoff. And then once the ball kicks off, it's football at the end of the day, right? And so it's exciting to be in the playoffs, the media attention, the people that are talking about your team for good reason. This is a good football team, but at the end of the day, when that first kickoff goes, it's football, and we're just going to have to go out there and try and execute versus a very good football team.
What about you guys? Anything you hid from them last week that you're gonna put out this week?
I can't say much, obviously, but I think we have a good game plan going into this one. And like you guys talked about, when you play the same team, you understand what they're trying to do defensively, but all of a sudden they might alter a few things, and then some plays that we had schemed up we might have to throw out, right? So it's all dictates on how they play us in certain situations, and then go out there and like the biggest thing in the playoffs is turnovers and penalties. That's what games come down to. Everybody's going to play well, and everybody's going to have those time crunch situations, but it's the team that can turn over the ball less and who can take the least amount of penalties usually finds themselves in a good situation to win the football game.